So, as we get closer to the end of the season, the question becomes one of which coaches are most likely to get thrown out of their jobs. And it's probably going to be a lot. It usually is. Um, there's been a number of coaching changes done during the season. I think those are done. I think any other coaching changes made will be done at the end of the season to have a fresh start coming out of the draft, expansion draft, and free agency for whoever is brought in to be coach. So I went in reverse alphabetical order through the guide and record book here, found any team that's currently sitting outside the playoffs, and said the likelihood of said team missing the playoffs and firing their coach, what are the odds? I skipped any coach that is a interim coach. So Doug Waite, I skipped. And I honestly think Doug Waite will keep his job. Regardless of what happens with the Islanders from here, I think Doug Waite's their coach for next year. So I'm not even putting him on the list. So in reverse alphabetical order, the Jets are first. Paul Maurice, I think there's an 80% chance he gets fired. You can miss the playoffs once, maybe twice, but this team's been middling while he's been doing what he's been doing, and I don't know that Maurice is the guy to lead them back into the playoffs. He had a really good run when he was first hired, but that was a while ago, and I think it's his time. In Vancouver, there's a 99% chance Willie Desjardins goes because I think they've got Travis Green all set to come out from Utica. I think that's the only reason why they're waiting and why they haven't fired Willie Desjardins already. They know they're not going to make the playoffs, and Travis Green is the heir apparent for the job. Now, whether he's an improvement or not, we'll find out next year. But I do think it's Travis Green's job. John Cooper in Tampa. I'm only giving him a 25% chance of being fired because I don't think Tampa would fire John Cooper after he's had so much success early on. I don't think one down year is going to do it, and I think keeping this at less than half a chance he gets fired. A lot of injuries. Losing Stamkos, Johnson, Paquette, and Nemesnikov. That's a lot of guys to lose all at once. So if they miss the playoffs, I can't see John Cooper losing his job. Dave Hackstall in Philly. I give Hackstall a 50% chance of being fired. He's only been around for a couple of years, but Philly's not gaining ground with him as coach, really. And at the same time, I don't know if you don't have goaltending, how do you gain ground? So there's that. Los Angeles, Daryl Sutter, 50%. I think Daryl Sutter, because of the two Stanley Cups, I think he's the coach of the Kings until either there's a GM change or he has a public feud with one of the star players in LA. And even by that score, their star players right now are not playing like star players. So even if he had that feud right now, I think he'd keep his job. So I think there's a 50-50 chance the Kings may make a move. I kind of on the fence with it because this isn't the first year that they've shown signs of regressing. But I don't know that the coach can make a team faster, and that's what the Kings need. Jeff Blashill in Detroit. I've got him as a 75% chance. Now, it's not his fault that Detroit doesn't have the talent they used to, but this is the coach of the team that's missing the playoffs for the first time in 26 years. I think Detroit will let him go, and then I think you'll see one of the guys who's out there and being talked about for Vegas go in and grab the Detroit job. So I don't know which one, but I think one of the better coaches is going to take a Detroit job because it's the Red Wings. They will have no problem attracting a really high-profile guy, and I think that's what they'll look for. I think Blashill was them trying to get a new face, and I think with what Babcock's done in Toronto, combined with the team's regression into territory that they haven't been in since the late 80s, early 90s, I really think this is going to lead them to an experienced coach. And one may be available coming out of Dallas because I think Lindy Ruff has an 80% chance of being fired. And if Lindy Ruff went from Dallas to Detroit, that might be a good matchup, a good fit for Lindy Ruff, let's say. It's not Ruff's fault, but Ruff will take the fall. That being said, I always thought Lindy Ruff was an odd hire by Dallas. I understood why he was in Buffalo. He was a Buffalo Sabre through and through for 25 years. but I always thought it was weird seeing him behind the Dallas bench, and I've never felt it looked right. And I don't know if he's ever really had a really good handle on the team. And I think it's his turn to go. I don't have any idea who's going to step in after him. I just believe it's time for him to go. Colorado, they could fire the coach, but because of the gong show it's been this year, I think Sakic could go. The entire mismanagement of the roster, the public fallout between him and Patrick Roy, and now the fact the team's got worse since Roy left, and I didn't expect that. Maybe I agree with Patrick Roy then. Maybe Patrick Roy made some good points, and maybe I was wrong all those months ago when I talked about Roy and said, well, they should be better under Bednar. They're not. They're not. They're not better than anybody now. Colorado is at the very bottom. And the way that the entire roster has been mismanaged, mishandled, and it just seems to be getting worse, it has to fall at Sakic's feet. I get it. He won all those Stanley Cups. Well, it's 3. I think it was 3 that Colorado won. He won Stanley Cups as a Colorado Avalanche. I understand he's a hero, but ask Edmonton Oilers fans how far that gets you and how much further you go when you say, you know what, we're just going to bring in a good GM and a really good coach, and we don't care if they have any previous history with the team. Colorado needs to follow that template and go with it. Carolina, Bill Peters. I have a 90% chance that Peters is gone. This is 3 years in a row. No playoffs, nowhere near. They're spinning their wheels. And as soon as they hire a new coach, I would think again. I think they'll be looking for an experienced bench boss in the NHL, a Hitchcock maybe, that kind of guy. And Carolina is a team I'm looking at and saying next year they should be in the playoffs. They absolutely should. They got some very good young players. They've got a lot of good pieces. If they make the right moves in the offseason, they're in the playoffs. Buffalo, Dan Bylsma. I've only got a 25% chance of Bylsma going, as long as Buffalo has excuses. And this year it's, well, Eichel was out for a long period of time. Well, we had that really rough start. After that, we were better. There's been a lot of issues with injuries. As long as there's all those excuses, Bylsma won't lose his job. I can't see it. And Bylsma, with his coaching pedigree and his previous experience before he got to Buffalo, I think that buys him at least one more year to give it a shot at turning it around. And he's a good coach, so I don't think it's his fault either. Dave Tippett in Arizona, I have a 50% chance. It's 50-50. If Arizona wants to get better, then they move on from Tippett. She's not in here. If Arizona wants to move on and get better, I think they move on from Tippett. I don't know. He's no idea where his mother is. I don't know that getting rid of Tippett necessarily makes Arizona better next year, but I know that's the easy answer. And they may look for a young coach to go with their young GM and this whole public persona that, hey, we're getting better. And then going into the jersey aspect, I would imagine Arizona could do a complete redesign there too. Just complete rebranding. Let's rebrand the team, especially if they move from Glendale to another county, if they move back into downtown Phoenix, if they move to Scottsdale, Tempe, Death Valley. I don't know. Anywhere they go. Zona is a team that I had picked to be in the playoffs this year, and that was as wrong as you can get. Because I thought with all that youth, they turned it around. I had no idea Duclair would take this huge step back, and Domi was going to get hurt, and his goal scoring wasn't going to be where it was as a rookie. Lots of reasons to look at Arizona and say, well, maybe next year. And it starts with coaching. And like I said, maybe a complete rebranding. You keep the name. Coyotes is a good name, but maybe they change up the logo, the colors, and everything else, and go, we're rebranding, new team. We've got a GM who's younger than half the team, and we're gonna have a coach who's fresh out of high school because he knows what advanced stats are. So he's our new coach. So I don't know. It's one of those things I look at, and coaching changes are tricky. They're really hard to call. So let me know which coaching changes you think are going to happen. Let me know out of this list who you think's going to get fired, who you think's going to stay. It's kind of tough to call. So to review, Maurice, yes. Desjardins, yes. Hines in New Jersey, yes. I mentioned Hines? I don't think I did. John Hines in New Jersey, they just haven't. I wrote him down. I put 80% there, but I don't think I mentioned him. New Jersey's really spinning their wheels, and I think firing the coach is the easiest way to go with it. Blashill in Detroit, yes. Lindy Ruff in Dallas, yes. Bill Peters in Carolina, yes. And the rest of them are maybes or no's. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, and have a pleasant Sunday. It's a wonderful, beautiful day out in Abbotsford, BC, and hopefully it is where you are too. I know there's been a lot of snowing going on. Hopefully that's sorted itself out. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon.